Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Theorist with your host, JC Botero67. And today we're taking a look at A Magnificent Depravity, chapter 29. So we're almost hitting a milestone chapter with the next one. Anyway, I have Alex back as a guest. So, hello,
Hello
Alex.
again to everyone.
Yes, I have to keep bringing you back on these reviews because it just feels so weird doing it by myself anymore.
I
So.
understand that feeling.
Yes. Okay. So I was just opening up A Magnificent Depravity, like an actual chapter on fan fiction, because I have some quotes that I'm going to read from there. And I noticed that the first chapter ever got published June 28th, 2012.
Oh,
I
wow.
thought, yeah. So I'm like, dude, it's still going on 3 years later. It's
That's
pretty cool,
insane.
though. Yeah. It's pretty awesome, though. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get to the nitty gritty here. Hold on a sec, something popped up. Okay.
Whoa.
So
The chapter
oh, yeah.
didn't even start yet and things are popping up. This is getting intense.
Oh yeah. Woohoo. Okay. All right. So the chapter starts off with Sebastian comparing Johann to Ciel. And I guess like the big deal is, oh, Johann, even though he's not in school, he's still so used to waking up early. And, he's pretty much a morning owl while Ciel's just all like, oh, this shit. I'm a sleep in fool. So
That sounds like me in the morning.
That's beautiful. I'm sure you could probably say that much better. I'm still trying to work on my ghetto-ness. It's kind of hard.
Man, this shit. Don't be waking me up. I'm trying to be sleeping. You all up in here like, yo, wake up. It's like, no, I got the day off. Even if I ain't got the day off, shut the up. I'm trying to sleep. Goodbye.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.
Okay, so after that like random little comparison that Sebastian did, he's still like forcing Ciel out of bed at like 6 a.m. That way he's present for his guest who's always ready for breakfast at 7. So anyway, I, having the dirty mind that I have, was hoping that there would be some delicious morning sex. But there wasn't any.
Aww.
So I know this is disappointing. This isn't the part that you're supposed to get excited about yet.
I was gonna
I know.
say I hope not.
Yeah. So it's kind of sad. I was like, yes, like a makeup's come on. No.
I was gonna say
Instead,
Sebastian could force me out of bed any day.
oh, right? Like for real. Same here. Okay. Anyway, the morning routine transitions to like London streets before Johann and Ciel reach a bookstore. But before we get to the scene, I do want to add how I love Eglentyne's way of setting the scene and making it so realistic. Like she uses street names and, what can be found on the streets, like, like the moms and the kids and stuff. Anyway, I'll read a little bit of a quote so you can get what I'm trying to get at, I guess. All right. There seemed to be little of interest to them in the more exclusive shopping districts as they glanced at the gleaming shop windows on Bond Street. Ladies in their latest styles perused the Burlington Arcade with its jewelry and watches, fine tailors and hat makers, coats, canes, shoes, and accessories. Children bounced beside their mothers, pleading to enter the doll shops and sweet shops on Regent. Johann suggested a quiet bookshop on Oxford Street he had a habit of visiting when time and opportunity afforded. The young master was familiar with the place and was eager to be away from the fashionable crowds with all their pretensions. And so while, to me, it's just, I don't know, it's awesome how she describes it because it feels like such a small, like, paragraph, but it says a lot.
It really does, and it makes you feel like you're like there, and it makes it easier to picture. Like you can picture everything.
Right. I love how she uses street names too, because, sometimes it's kind of like, oh, do we have to go and, as a writer, like, do we have to describe like the street and whatever? Like, it requires research, which is really awesome on her part. So I just had to point that out. So now at the bookstore, Johann comes across an expanded version of the original publication of The Picture of Dorian Gray. But wait, there's more. Preface is included. Lol. I had to bring out my inner Billy Mays. So anyway, I guess Picture Dorian Gray was originally found in the Lippincott magazine.
Oh.
And so, yeah, and so CL was just see another little bit of research that she had to do, I guess. And so CL's kind of like, oh, I never saw that publication or whatever. So, he ends up getting the book. I'm kind of jumping ahead in my notes here. But before CL gets the book, Johann is, kind of clutching the book close to him. He's kind of pretending to like read the preface, or at least he really is, because he's really nervous all of a sudden with CL's proximity. And so CL all of a sudden is like, nah, girlfriend, there's no way you just read all that. And then Johann's kind of like, but CL, baby, I did too. So like, Johann gets all fancy in summarizing what he read to which CL replies, okay, I believe you. And that's when CL kind of snatches the book from him and hands it to the store clerk, and then Sebastian is paying for the book. Okay, I should point out too, like, CL's like, oh, you're gonna read it first, and then I'll read it. So, Johann's kind of like, oh, like, kind of, I guess a little taken by surprise that, CL's getting this book for him. So then the three of them move on to a cafe that, CL likes to frequent, I guess. But I believe along the way, they kind of stop mid-stride because CL catches ear of some new business some guys are starting. And that business is BDSM toys. No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, damn.
Right? I know. CL's kinky. He wants to get it on with Sebastian again. But for real speaking, it's a gramophone business.
Ooh.
And so it's really cool because the way Eglentyne wrote this scene, Johann seems to know a lot about the gramophone. And so I feel like we're kind of seeing a reverse between Johann and CL, because I'm so used to CL being like really well-centered and knowing everything almost. I don't know. But now, like, we see him kind of childish, amazed at this new technology, and, he's constantly heckling the store owner with questions, and he's just like, oh, I have to have this, gramophone. So I'm going to read another little quote here. So this is from Sebastian's point of view. Both Johann and I had to contain his exuberance as he asked the clerk all manner of questions about this magic of recorded music, that he could play these same recordings over and over. Yes, if there were more recordings one could buy. More are made every day. What if the machine should stop working? There's a warranty. Finally, CL declared, I would like this delivered to my townhouse, and these recordings, especially these by Handel. Oh, and this opera, and whatever else you think is good. Sebastian, give this man what is due. So yeah, I don't know. I just love CL and, like, his childishness and, like, his questioning and whatnot.
It's always fun when CL gets excited about something, because it doesn't happen very often.
I know, yeah. That's what I'm like, dude, this is so cute. I want to, like, see this, like, in an anime, like for real. So anyway, once they're done, doing their thing in town, they head back to the townhouse. Yes, I know, threesome. No, just kidding. So they head back to the townhouse, and Johann is like trying to avoid any physical contact with CL. Oh, that sounds really okay. Well, he's trying to avoid bumping his knee against CL's as they kind of sit side by side in the carriage or whatever. And then pretty much he just stays away from CL for the rest of the day. And, CL starts to think that Johann finds him intolerable, but Sebastian knows that it is quite the opposite. So now we transition.
Wants your body.
Oh, yeah. So now we transition to the next day, and a trunk from Nina Hopkins, the tailor, has arrived for Johann. And so, CL's like, oh, do I get to see what's inside here? I guess CL kind of thought that Sebastian used his money to get it, but I guess Sebastian found another means to pay for it. But anyway, he does promise CL that he'll get to see it. So anyway, in the meantime, while the trunk is being taken upstairs to Johann's room, Sebastian goes find Johann. He's in one of the other rooms in the manor. But, he's taking Johann upstairs to go see the dress and whatnot, because that's what's inside the trunk. And Johann doesn't know that he's actually going to try it on. So now we come to the scene that I'm telling you, you're going to be like all crazy about. And I have to say, Sebastian, you sly demon, you. He's using the art of seduction to get his way. He's undressing Johann while getting Johann to admit that he wants Ciel and how he envisions it will be like, while telling him all about Ciel's likings and weak spots. And so I'm going to go ahead and read a bit from the chapter. It starts with a whisper in his ear. He likes the feeling of lips here. Can you see him? Can you imagine doing this to him? His hair smelled of lavender, linen, antique books. And so this is obviously Sebastian's point of view, and he's describing how Johann's hair is smelling. So on with the quote still. He has a fascination with hands. For all your delicate features, you have very striking hands. He would like that. So I'm going to skip around a little bit. He says, you can touch him anywhere, but his special places are on his lower back, his thighs. Oh, Johann, he has the most luscious thighs.
Oh my.
And how he would pull at my hair when we kissed. And I'm just like, dude. So Johann's kind of like, oh, you still long for him. And Sebastian's like, oh, yes, I still, do. And yeah, it just goes on. And then eventually, oh, here's more. You'll like this. So this is Johann now. I want to know his taste, how he sounds when he calls my name. I want him to bury inside me.
Oh my.
And then Sebastian's like, you want him to you.
Jeez.
I know, it gets really intense. You should read this chapter. I know you'd like it. Because, Sebastian's getting all touchy with Maurice. Okay. He's getting all touchy with Johann. And, eventually Johann releases in Sebastian's hand. And that's pretty much the end of the chapter. And now moving on to the author's note, Eglentyne basically said that the chapter was meant to be longer. And she goes on to say, I had to cut it down because the last scene got really intense. I think the reason I stalled on uploading this chapter was because it was never intense enough. Did I manage to hit it? Did it work? Maybe you're in shock. I don't know. It's a pretty invasive, dirty talk scene. There was going to be a dressing scene, but I think I might cut it out because my brain is going, get on with it. So, I think it'd be interesting to see a dressing scene because we've seen Sebastian and Ciel before with the whole Robin Ciel. So I don't know if I would, I think it'd be kind of interesting to see Sebastian do the same with Johann. And you know what I'm even thinking? It would be funny if Sebastian kind of mentioned, oh, I had to do this before with Ciel or something. I don't know. Just like a dirty little secret that just kind of gets revealed to Johann. Would I have wanted the scene to be longer? I think it was perfect the way it was. But yeah, I think it would still be interesting to see a dressing scene next chapter, possibly. It doesn't have to be long, but, it can still be present in chapter 30. So that's pretty much it for this chapter. And yes, that was the scene that I was saying you would get all crazy about.
It was thoroughly enjoyable.
Yes. You should read the chapter in its entirety, though, or at least that part of it.
I really should.
Because I didn't read everything. That would have been too much. So yeah, thank you, Alex, again, for guest starring in these Magdeprav reviews.
You are very welcome. I've noticed that Magdeprav reviews never quite seem as long as the Revelations reviews.
I think it's probably because, it's just me doing most of it. And
well, that's true. If I had more to say as well, it'd be longer.
I think so, yeah. And then because we each, kind of pick 3 quotes that we read and whatnot, so that takes up a little more time. And then we tree branch all the time too.
That is very true. I am a great pruner of trees.
Suddenly we're talking about Rent or talking about Dancing with the Stars or I don't know. It just goes off.
Demon sex, it goes everywhere.
Oh yeah.
It goes everywhere. Oh Lord.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you again. I appreciate your presence on these reviews.
You are very welcome, of course.
And thanks to our listeners out there. And we will definitely catch you in the next milestone chapter, chapter 30. So we'll catch you all then.
Goodbye.
Bye.